techniques, guys, and then Cinder's going to show a couple. And we're going to start with one of my favorites, and a lot of you guys have done it before. The reason why I like this so much is that it really, a lot of these things that we were just talking about, it really kind of shows them in a very nice and clear way, right? So how about if Sundar puts me in a headlock here, right? Because of this position, right, he can put a lot of pressure on my neck. I'm not necessarily in danger of getting choked here, but he can definitely injure me, right? So from here, I'm going to bring both arms up, and I'm just going to hang the elbows, and I'm going to try to create just a little bit of, alleviate some of the pressure on my neck. Now, the nature of a headlock is that he bends me here, right? And now my posture is compromised. And this is very dangerous for me, right? He can always take one hand away, start to punch me, right? And I'm in a bad position. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that I regain my posture, and I also am looking to compromise his base. So I'm going to make a base, and I'm going to walk my feet in until my knee gets behind his knee. And now, if he's very strong, I may not be able just to do this, right? So I may have to get my hips underneath of my legs, and then I may need to straighten my back, and then I can get my posture. And because he's attached to me, and he did not let go, because in his mind, this is what he does. He grabs the head and he squeezes people, right? His balance, his base is now compromised. Now it's really important as I do this next movement. I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to swim it behind and I'm going to get it up here on his neck. A couple of very important points here. If I'm very tense with my neck and he's very tense with his arms, and I'm going to try to push him away and push my neck away like this, that hurts my neck, right? I'm going to go home later. I'm going to have to ice it. I'll wake up tomorrow morning and be like, why is my neck all screwed up, right? What I want to do instead is I want to relax my neck. He can squeeze as much as he wants, and because my neck is relaxed, it's not going to become injured. Now from here, I'm going to use my forearm to make a frame in his neck. Don't grab your hand. The wrist is too flexible. You want to take a thumbless palm, monkey grip, and you're going to put it above your wrist here. And now you're just going to extend your elbow and just drive this into their neck. And the more that he squeezes, the more that this goes into his neck. And I'm just going to wait here. I'm going to hold this here, right? I don't have to be fast. I don't have to be powerful. I just have to be patient and keep a good base so I don't fall. Eventually, right, sometimes I can even grind this in here like this, right? Eventually, as he gets tired of this, he may decide to change his strategy. And he opens the hands and he goes to punch me. When this happens, I have to immediately transition to here. This hand goes behind and this hand goes in front. And as he goes to punch me, I'm not going to block his punch. I'm just going to follow his punch. I'm just going to follow it. And as he begins to pull this arm back even more, now I trap it with this back hand. And now this hand's going to go to the wrist. And now from here, if I keep this open and in lots of space, right, he probably can be able to forcefully pull his arm out and away. What I want to do is I want to attach my elbow to his back and wrap his bicep and just hold here. And now I can wait again. There's no need. He can fight as much as he wants here, and I'm just going to keep his arm from being able to punch me, right? And it might be a bit of a waiting game as he starts to get a little tired, and I stay relaxed so I don't get tired. When it looks like I have an opportunity to move out of this position, I keep his bicep here, and I'm going to take this arm, I'm going to hold the wrist. Now, everyone's first reaction here is to do this, to take a bow and to get their head out from underneath the arm. But if you do that, maybe he can join his hands together in the back of that, and now he knows not to let me do any of those things, and now I'm even in a worse position. So instead of that, I want to be here with my back up, and I'm going to get out from underneath of his arm by getting his arms further away from one another, by stepping up and out like this, and looking up to the ceiling. Now, because his hands are so far away, it's easy for me to get my head out, and I just shuffle. And now from here, I'm going to keep my hold on the bicep, and I'm going to take this arm up. Keep a little bit of space, right? Don't keep this flat on their back. A little bit of space. And now you're just going to slowly bring the arm up towards the ceiling. This tension in the arm, the 90-degree angle at the elbow, right? And driving the arm across towards the middle of the spine causes a lot of pressure and tension in the shoulder. So when you're practicing this with your partner, be aware, as soon as you experience that tension, tap. Don't wait for any pain to happen. Okay? Let's try it.
There's a temptation when you're moving your head out of the headlock to take your hand and move his arm off your head, or her arm off your head, right? And Nate's going to explain to you why this would be dangerous.
First thing is, right, my arm versus his arm, right? Look at what a strong position his arm is in, and look what a weak position my arm is in, right? I wouldn't be comfortable picking up like a grocery bag like this, right? So if he's really forcefully not going to let me pull the arm off, and I'm like this, I'm probably just not going to have the strength. So if your partner is really aggressively, trying to hold your head, you're going to find that this just doesn't work right away, right? Now, if I try to muscle this and I try to muscle my head out, right? Number one, again, maybe he can get the hands together, right? But number two, like this is putting a lot of pressure on my neck. The whole point of the headlock for him is that he uses controlling my head to control the rest of my body, right? Because the body goes where the head is going, right? So if I'm trying to aggressively get my head out like this, not only maybe I compromise my base, but I'm also just putting a lot of pressure on my neck and on my spine, right? I don't want to do that. I want to keep my neck relaxed. I want to keep my posture. I don't want to let this get compromised, right? And now, instead of just using the strength of just this one arm, what about his arm versus my entire body? His arm loses, right? That's why I step like this, right? It's my whole body moving his arm, right? He has no choice here. He can grab as hard as he wants, right? And now because I have all of this space, I can get my head out because there's nothing blocking me any longer, right? He's so open that all of this area is free and I can get out and then finish.
Make sense? Okay, so do that.